to be on here in about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Can y'all hear me okay?
We got
Yeah,
you.
we got
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Real Fisherman Show. Today we got a good show for you today. We're going to talk about Chesapeake Bay striper. We'll probably touch on the SBC a little bit, maybe the HSBC a little bit, but mostly Chesapeake Bay striped bass and what's going on with that fishery up there, how to catch them, how we've caught them, and I don't know, maybe some other things. What's going on, guys?
Another day in paradise, enjoying some time off finally. Whew, the holiday grind is real.
Yeah, no doubt. It didn't last long enough. Everything was just like I was back to work in a jiffy.
I was just mad at myself because I had a chance to go this weekend and didn't take off and go back. So
yeah, Daryl, you just got back, man. Been catching some monsters
but I
up there.
I could have left on Friday again. They had some unbelievable days. So
yes, Chesapeake. Everybody knows Chesapeake's great. It ain't no secret. I don't think we're not burning anybody's spot by doing a podcast or a show talking about it. And I hope that
we are hell with them.
I hope that no one thinks that we're trying to step on their livelihood or something like that, because I don't believe that to be the case. I think that
it's the ocean. You know what I mean?
It's a vast area up there. There are no spots.
Some people don't realize that, though. I promise you.
And I mean, I think that it would be good for the economy up there. People buying gas, people buying tackle, renting rooms.
I think on that point, JR, I was talking to Anthony about years ago when it kind of died down, and I don't know. I mean, I fished there in the heyday when it was 50 fish a day, when it was 20 fish, everybody pulling mojos, eels at the at night at the thing, and it was so good. And everybody now says the excuse has been, well, you can't keep any fish and you can't have a tournament, which was kind of me talking to Johnson. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just think people didn't like the challenge of, 6 fish, a day and a few bites, Same thing as Middle Tennessee to me, you know what I mean? That's not cut out for everybody. But like this year, I mean, 20 fish, I mean, I've heard 15, 17s, a few 20s in a day. I mean, for 40 pound and up in fish, that is like an awesome fishery.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's just a good year, right?
Yes, it is. And the thing is it's even better north. And what I'm afraid is happening is it seems like everything's moving north. The fish have always migrated from Maine to North Carolina. Well, really further north than Maine, up in Nova Scotia down to North Carolina. But it seems like the Chesapeake Bay in Virginia might be the new North Carolina. Like it eventually they may, because I remember reading that I think at least 80% of the Chesapeake Bay stripe or the stripers spawn up in the Chesapeake Bay. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think more stripers are starting to spawn up in the Hudson River and north of Chesapeake. I think everything's headed north.
The one thing that we've been trying to figure out, because that's the challenge, right? Of what are they doing? I don't know whether the fish are spawning there, to be honest, or whether they're just sitting there waiting for a tent break. And I relate this to the fact that we have a friend, Peter and I have a mutual friend that like last year, and y'all probably heard the stories, it's a 10 or 15 mile tower where everybody was going out to see the freaking mile-long school of striped bass when they went off, and they just sat there, and the bluefin tuna was in them. You could just watch them just eating freaking 50-pound stripers, you know what I mean?
Are you talking about years ago?
No, I'm talking about last year they did that.
Last year,
they left the bay, they staged up out there, and I don't know the exact spot. Yeah. But I did have 3 personal friends who went just to see that. You know what I mean? 2 of the 3 of them got to see, 600 to a granders in bluefin tuna that were just, I mean, it would have been like striper schooling on LY or something, you know what I mean? But It was literally bluefin schooling, and that lasted for like 30 days. So, I think the fish may just be sitting, waiting on the tip break to move, but I don't know that. I mean, that's just kind of my own little hypothesis.
I think that they're definitely, temperature is the main factor up there. Temperature is way more than like structure or anything like that. I think those fish are moving in from the ocean and they're heading up north into the bay until they find that correct temperature that they're looking for.
So this year, and not to sound like an expert because I'm anything but, I'm not. But I had a friend who had never been or hadn't been in years. He's a really, really good fisherman. He went up, caught fish on the first day in a 23-foot bay rider. He stayed on those same fish and has stayed on those exact same fish turning around. And he was the first guy I heard of like 3 weeks ago when we were there. Frankie literally busted 17 fish, you know what I mean, when everybody else was 6s and 8s. But I know for a fact he was turning around and fishing on the same fish that the fish were sitting still, you know what I mean, on the edge of the channel. And, who's to say whether it's a whole group coming through or not? But if you just stayed on a line, just pulling straight, it didn't work. You were just run out of fish. And he was just making huge circles and coming back to those fish. That's what I was telling Wes about. And
so Wes,
he did it the whole time.
Wes, when you start fishing up there, do you tend to go with the tide or are you going against the tide?
I always like to go with it. Every year that I've fished up there, I'll try to look at what the tide's doing. And say if it's an incoming tide, I'll start south and pull north until that tide changes. And there again, kind of depending on when it changes, where I start at. And then when the tide's going out, I'll turn around and pull back south.
Yeah.
Wes is trying to find that perfect window in that tide, right? A window, right?
I mean, it seems like the game plan up there is to cover water.
Yeah. And like Chuck said, the more natural your bait looks, of course, the more strikes you're going to get. And your bait just looks more natural when you're not going against current, when you're going with current. So that's the way I've always fished up there.
From a guy that, because I used to fish it back, Daryl was talking about back in the heyday, back when I used to fish it, we pulled mojos in the ocean. And you talk about a huge difference from pulling mojos is pulling eels in the bay when you're only using, you're not using much weight. How much weight do you have on those lines, Wes? About 2 ounces?
No. Usually
1 ounce?
Sometimes I'll put an ounce on, and some of them I don't run a weight at all.
Yeah, you don't even have to. And why is that? Because the eel is swimming down, so you don't really have to, because it's actually fighting. I've noticed when you're pulling boards, I've noticed the lines tend to stay down in the column a little ways anyways, but I don't think those striper are running very deep anyway up there.
I think no deeper in water. I think the deepest water that I've ever fished up there is maybe 45 foot. And even in that deeper water, the bay's not the cleanest water. It's not the clearest, but I just personally think those fish down there, they know that bait's up there. They know that eel's up there, and another thing Chuck does, he, we started running teasers. I think he said one year I run teasers on my planer boards and I run some on my hooks. It's kind of like bright pink. I like the pink. It's real easy to see in the water. And that just kind of draws the fish to it. If he can't see an eel, if the water is dingy for whatever reason,
and it probably makes a little noise too, Wes. That mylar. Yeah. I mean, I realize that mylar is not designed for noise, but I imagine it does make somewhat of a noise. And
well, I think some guys run. Actually, I've seen some guys run these little spinner things like the catfish guys do. It's got a little clicking thing.
It's crazy how things transition over into other fish, like striper, like the planer boards kind of transitioned over into the catfish world. Catfishermen didn't used to pull planer boards. It's crazy how little things, and those teasers, that's like something you'd put on like a king rig or something.
Yeah. And said Chuck had one. I don't remember what year he said it was. He was running a teaser on a planer board, and the striper hit the board and actually got it stuck in his mouth.
Oh wow!
He tried to swallow it.
It takes a 50+ pound striper to do that.
Yeah. So. What's up, Mr. Milhorn? You ready to go to the Chesapeake Bay?
I am. I'm confused though with all these rods in the water. Where are the catfish rigs going to be amongst all that stuff? I'm curious how we're going to be able to get all that stuff out
at home.
Like JR was talking, half of them look like catfish rigs. I can tell you guys this, and they're probably going to call me the Mark Cooper Chesapeake Bay. But if you're running 8 rods or if you're running 10 rods, this is just what's been going on, guys. Half of those rods need to have no weight on them.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah. The eels are your weight. The eels are getting down, aren't they?
The eels naturally want to go down.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they dig. It's about like having a planer board on there. Or
Let me tell you something about an eel. I don't really like them. I've learned to deal with them. They're slimy. They're nasty. But an eel is the most hardy bait I've ever fished with in my life.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you can put a hook through their head and holler their whole fucking head out.
They got to be right there with a cockroach. Yeah.
And you just like you can't kill them. You can cut their fucking head off and they still swim.
I think they might regenerate.
I remember catching like 3 or 4 fish on one damn eel once, back in the heyday.
Yeah.
They're a very hardy bait.
There's a catfisherman local to here that's been using eels to catch catfish.
Big John.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought some home to the Yakin like 5-6 years ago, JR.
Mm-hmm.
And the flatheads, it was fire in the Yakin River.
Oh, really? On live eels?
Yeah. I didn't catch anything else on them, but the flatheads just would.
Now, did you keep them alive or were they dead? Did you
No. I brought them home alive.
Oh, you fished them alive. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Not a bad idea.
You can't.
All right, so I've got questions. I looked at the weather. I've got some people checking the weather, some of my meteorologist buddies. It's looking bad Tuesday and Wednesday. What I would think would be bad, and that's my question. 15 to 20.
Yeah, it's hard.
25. That sounds bad.
That's hard.
Okay.
But
the good news is Monday and Thursday and Friday are good.
We're still a week out.
Yeah, I don't trust any offshore forecast or beach forecast until like 3 days prior, really.
This is that low pressure that is coming in from Texas that's going to sweep up and go off the coast. It's supposed to be, the rain's supposed to be out. It's supposed to be north of there. It's just supposed to be.
Let me ask you this. After a big storm, like we're having right now, is the bite pretty good the next day after, let's say, a storm is blowing 35, 45 miles an hour?
Are you talking about freshwater or are you talking about saltwater?
No, 40 saltwater strapper.
Okay.
No, if you could fish it, Peter, the rougher the better, but you just can't fish it. But I went the other week when I went 3 days, it was rougher than the night in jail with Mike Tyson on Thursday. And I'm telling you, the bite was fire. It was it was good every day, but I'm telling you that the roughness does not affect it.
Yeah, no. So what I'm trying to say is, like, I remember back during the heyday of striper fishing out there in the Outer Banks, and when those fish came down there in the late '90s, early 2000s. I was out there a time or two where it was like storm came through, 35, 45, 50 mile an hour winds, rough seas, everything. And everyone swore the very next day after a storm like that, the dang fish would not bite at all. And
it depends on what it's doing with the bait, I would imagine.
I don't know if it's the bait or churning up the water where it's very nasty and dingy or what, but they said the very next day after a storm, the bite was non-existent. And I didn't witness that myself, back then that I remember. But yeah.
I do have another concern too. Is Scott Perry going to be down there?
No.
Okay. He said
I wish we could get Scott to come.
He said something on a post on Facebook. I'll see you next week. And I think he may have been, I thought he was referring maybe to fishing, but he may have been referring to the ball game because
I was just wanting to the ball game because his little boys won.
Okay. Because I wanted to make sure that we were not planning to fish on Tuesday if he has a bad day Monday night because I'm just mapping stuff out here. I think his team's going to win.
They win one game, and all of a sudden you see him post 15 fucking memes on his dang Facebook. A little damn kid.
Hey, be happy. I mean, hey, they're there.
I know.
And I'm glad Alabama ain't there.
Yeah.
I wanted them to beat them though. It's one of the few times I've ever rooted for Alabama. It was very hard. So, but Michigan's going to be hard to beat. They're pretty freaking solid. So, but I digress. Back to striper fishing.
But yeah, I'm on. I almost started to rent a house today. But he said he's got me open for 2 weeks, so I'm gonna look at it a little bit closer. I said I'm just trying to get it because everybody needs to come at different times. You know, and I don't want to have people come up there and just to sit in the house. You know, JR made a trip last year. He drove to fish one day, and that morning I tried to get out, and we just couldn't do it. I mean, the water came over the front of my boat, and I said, hey, it's time to go. You know, the fish ain't worth it. So we went back in.
Yep.
Went to Hardy's, talked to some more people that was up there fishing, running into the same thing. So we went up to Morley's Wharf and put in, and wound up catching 8 fish. Eight fish. We caught 8 fish, 9 bites in 3 hours. You know, so it paid off.
It's weird how that worked out because nobody was catching fish that morning, and me and Wes actually stumbled on some fish. We were I know Clint Lassard was up there fishing, and I think they had they caught any that morning, Wes?
Yeah, they'd caught a few, but it wasn't. It really turned on that afternoon.
No, they were a little further south than we were, though, right?
Yeah, they were about 10 miles south of us,
Yeah.
I think.
So you put in that vast, you know, there's a lot of different boat accesses where you can access you got the western shore, you got the eastern shore, and there's no telling where those stripers are going to be from that lower bay, you know, all the way up into the upper bay. So we just happened to get lucky, and we found that. I don't know what the water temp was that day, but we found the right water temp, and we done better than everybody up there that day. But
cool.
But we were lucky because that was the only place we could fish because it wasn't as rough. You know, the farther you go up into the bay, typically the less rough it is.
The bay's kind of weird too. It's like on any given day, the lower half can be rough and the upper half can be fine, and vice versa. You know, but you're talking about from Cape Charles to Morley's Wharf, I think is like 30-something miles, maybe close, give or take. Just how much the weather can change in that bay, just in that short distance. So I did learn about saltwater fishing. I try to look out about 2 or 3 days ahead because but you know, sometimes too, when the weather holds a pattern, if you look at a pattern, it's been like that for 3 or 4 days, 5 days, just strong winds. Sometimes you don't want to, you know, you might want to second guess it.
It looks like easterly winds is if everything stays intact. 1 to 2 inches of rain Tuesday.
Only 1 or 2.
I'm not worried about the rain. It's just the wind. We can get wet, you know, and I've got an enclosed boat. You know, we're not just going to have to stand out there in the rain.
So, Daryl, question for you. Now, I don't know if you want to answer this on a show with only 6 viewers, you know, as far as spot burn and everything, but I was curious. Were you all fishing the upper bay, more the mouth, mid bay?
We'll be fishing either.
No,
depends on the water temp we find the bait at. What was the water temp is typically between. What was the water temp, Daryl, where y'all found fish?
We found fish around certain buoys, and we didn't even look at we did look at the water temp, but just hit me, Peter, is what I'll tell you. I already told Wes. I mean, the fish have been in the same spot. There's some fish staged up. If nothing changes, that I was told that they would be there till the striper leave. And it's a big area, is what I'm telling you. But the fact of to just point north and just keep going is not the trick, I don't think. I mean, that's not how some of it's worked out for some of the fishing I did. Yeah. There are some fish staged up that are staying pretty much so in one spot. And there's about 4 spots that's doing that.
If those fish stay in one spot, they're staying in one spot because the bait's staying in one spot.
Yes.
There ain't no bait. If that bait moves, I promise you, those fish will move. Those fish are in there now. They're hungry. They're wanting to eat. You know, I mean, those fish will move.
That I don't doubt. But what I'm telling you is those certain areas, it's not the same bait, but those certain areas are holding bait consistently, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, Daryl, are you fishing the SBC on Saturday?
Absolutely not.
You said you didn't say no. You said F no.
So me and Andrew were going to fish it, and we just couldn't put it together. And when I saw the weather, I was like, "Thank goodness it didn't. It just didn't work out this year for us."
Fair weather. So I ain't
one
gonna lie,
reason is
man.
because I'm
The
trying
older
to.
I get right now, it's harder for me today and jump in my truck when it's 25 degrees outside. Now I can't do it no more. I'm getting too old.
Well, I mean,
Now,
the bay changed it for me because I was wanting to go up there and fish, and because I never saw it this good. So I mean, I have a limited number of days, and plus I'm trying to do something. You know, in May I'm gonna be doing something different in Tennessee where I'm gonna need my vacation, and so it was kind of like, and I don't want to go fish Hartwell with it. At least, I want at least 3 days of practice. You know what I mean? I don't want to just show up. So the bay kind of took that away from me because it's like a shot at winning or a shot at going up there and freaking, just really,
Hey, I guarantee you, if you did a poll right now, a real poll, 1 out of 10 people won a tournament that pre-fished. Fuck pre-fishing. I think that's the biggest jinx and the biggest mojo you could put on a fishing tournament.
Wes, I don't doubt that. I just feel like I want to be the guy who puts in the work.
How many times I've seen people say they caught this pre-fishing and on tournament day they couldn't catch shit. Bobby Parker did the same thing that last tournament down there.
Right.
Caught a winning fish the day before the tournament pre-fishing. I think it's a jinx. What do you think, David?
I think if you here's what I think happens. If you go out there and find fish during the week, you get locked in on that and you don't give up and move away from it when it's not working on tournament day. You end up fishing for ghosts the whole time.
And Wes, you got to understand, you could ask like Peter everything changed on tournament day. So he was on fish on if he would have had a consistent weather pattern, it would have been a game changer, right? Peter,
Bingo.
last year?
Yeah. Bingo.
I mean, it's like it just so happened that the curse of that tournament has been showing up for a few years.
Yeah, that's that time of year that weather's expected anyways. Now it's kind of funny because it's a year later, but me and Cody and others still joke about it to this day. The biggest fish we caught in 3 days out there, we happened to be fishing and hook into this fish, and sure as shit, Dale Barney comes riding by, and we net the damn fish. We net the damn fish. I swing him the boat, and I'm like, "Fucking catfish!" And he's like, "That wasn't no fucking catfish." And he's seen it's about 13-pound striper, but we went to the same dang spot, nothing, gone, like he said. So yeah,
I think a smart angler, if they're smart enough to leave and smart enough to move on and go, this ain't the same condition, things ain't the same, I think it's good. But yeah, I think a lot of us end up fishing for ghosts because we caught them there yesterday.
Well, what if you're marking fish though, and you just can't get them to chew?
Yeah, but I mean, come on, guys. If you got 3 or 4 days to pre-fish, you're going to have A, B, C, and D spots at minimum, right? You're not going to have.
But you have to rank those spots. So, do you leave a spot that's higher in the hierarchy to go fish a spot with less fish, just because if you're marking a ton of fish, are you going to go to another spot where you marked some fish just because that ton of fish isn't biting?
I'm saying more on the weather pattern though, JR. So if it turns off like it has and you get a shitty cold front, maybe, and it's hard to know it, but if you have 4 different plans, maybe one of those will work out. If the cold front comes in, if the wind blows, if you got to get out of the wind, you know what I mean? That's kind of my thoughts on it.
So what you're saying is you better go mark some fish when you're pre-fishing that are out of the wind.
Well, that you just need to have multiple. You need to have multiple fish. You know what I mean?
Are y'all under the school of thought that all the fish feed at the same time? Like if you're on a school of fish, they're not biting. You feel like they're biting somewhere else. They're always biting somewhere else.
Nope. I think in some parts of the lake they will bite at a certain time, and other parts a different time, and that's where pre-fishing comes into play right there. I pre-fish a different way, and Dieter nailed it. Like any other fisherman out there, when they pre-fish, they shouldn't be hammering a spot consistently. You know, I'll ride through an area. You know, I troll artificial, no secret. You know, so I'm able to cover a lot of water. And if I find a pocket of fish, I'll troll through there. I might catch one or two. I'm not turning around. I keep on going. I will check on them at some point. I'll ride there. You know, no hooks in the water. I'll ride there. If they're there, great. They're there. You know, so I'll come back the very next day. And that's kind of sort of what we did at Santee. That's what we did at Lake Murray last year. And it worked out pretty good for us, honestly. One thing I've noticed about Clark's Hill, again, last year was the first time I fished it. Those fish on Clark's Hill move, and they move fast. So where you find them out one day, the next day they might not be there.
Let me ask y'all a question. Talking about pre-fishing and finding fish. The question is, why do you think fish are in a spot one day and they can be gone next day or a couple hours later and they're gone?
Bait.
You don't know.
Bait, I think.
Exactly. That's what I was
Bait.
just talking about. Chesapeake Bay. If those fish up there in the bay, if that bait moves, those fish is going to move where that bait is.
That's right.
That's a given.
But
Right.
and like I say, well, again, I understand that, but the pattern that we've come up with is there's certain areas that are holding bait.
Yeah.
You know, not the same bait, different bait. And the thing that Peter, like you were talking about, whether it's shitty one day and then it just goes, am I still here? You know, just terrible the next. The greatest thing about the bay is there is no bad time. You know how striper are so finicky and they just, you know, they'll just turn off for an hour, you know, or they're just, you know, I fish Tennessee and there's just, you just get that lull and then they'll turn back on. That doesn't happen in the bay. You just.
Well, let's talk about this for a second.
I mean, there are lulls, but it's because you're not around the fish.
That's why I like the bay. I'm not getting up at no fucking 5:30 in the morning.
Damn.
And going out
It's
there.
the one spot
my
where you
asshole.
can. Wes has as good a shot at freaking 11 o'clock as I do at 7. But, Wes, I will tell you this.
Oh, hell.
We have beat the living piss out of fish. I had my first fish last Saturday at 7:05, and we went. I never got 6 poles out, and we had 4 fish first thing in the morning.
But I'm not that mad at him.
And it could have happened at 11. I think it was the spot, not the time of the day. I'm being honest with you.
So you're saying we will not be out there at daylight? Is that what you're saying?
Hell no.
Hell yeah! If you want to get it, well, if you're going all the way to Chesapeake Bay, you fish daylight to dark.
Oh, I fished till
Oh,
dark.
are you saying that Dieter and JR can be laid up in the same bed talking about spicy rum or spicy whatever, sleep in till 8 a.m. and be good to go and still
No,
not miss anything?
we'll be fishing by 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Okay.
But I'm not getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be out there at 7. Just not gonna do it.
So I can tell you this, Peter. We eat breakfast every morning at a Hardee's at 5:30. We're there waiting on them to open. We leave. We put it at the dark, and I have never seen a boat when I take out in the afternoon. Not afternoon, in the evening. We are the very last boat off. I mean, but hell, we drove to Chesapeake Bay to fish for.
You're damn right. That's exactly right. Yep.
I mean, I'm up there for 3 days. I only got 3 days. I wouldn't want to miss 15 minutes of fishing.
I get it.
When it comes to my old ass getting the rest I need, the hell with 15 minutes.
I mean, hell, Wes, you got all night to sleep. The fishing's over at 5 o'clock.
Hey, Wes.
It ain't like you can't sleep.
Wes, just know this. No matter what happens, the captain gets credit for all the fish caught. So you're asking them, go out there, drop an anchor, whatever, take a nap, whatever happens, it's on you, baby.
That's what I like about going fishing with JR. Y'all be surprised how hard JR works on the boat. I love him. I mean, he goes up there and lets the trolling motor, you know, the self-deploy hit the self-deploy button you hit on your remote. I just push a button to say, JR, get the trolling motor. Shit, he's right there. JR, get the trolling motor. He's right back. JR, put this line up. There's nothing lazy about JR Cochran on the boat. He's one of the best people I've ever fished with, and that's a fact.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different deal. You're gonna fall in love. I know, Pete. I don't. Have you been, Pete?
I've been there before. I think the last time I was there was the year 2006, maybe 2007.
It's crazy. I mean, and we caught two fish that were like, we caught a 12-pound fish and a 38-pound fish. Everything else was like 41 was the smallest fish. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those were definitely migratory bass for sure.
And I'm telling you, fighting fish, not, I'm talking about the best sound you ever heard.
You know, one of the theories are some of those big fish are fish that are residential and stay up in the northern bay and come down. But
So
I don't think fish that are 40 plus are residential. I think all those are definitely the big migratory females.
So to your point, JR, I was going to say that we haven't caught any fish that didn't have sea lice on them.
And what's the theory on the sea lice?
The sea lice are the fish that's coming. This is what I understand. That is the fish that are coming from like Jersey.
Yeah.
So let me
That
ask you
explains
this.
the lice, Jersey.
Or
lice.
ocean fish,
Yeah,
however you want
common.
to say it.
Serious question. While at Santee last month, I caught a couple fish with sea lice on them. I thought about taking a picture. I'm like, yeah, whatever, but no shit. I caught a couple fish that, they're like 24-inch fish maybe.
You sure those weren't gill maggots?
Positive. They're sea lice on
Yeah, but
them.
you got to understand, Peter, you catch when those 30s show up every once in a blue moon, they're coming from the ocean to Santee, right?
They're coming up the Cooper River.
Right.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's
No. You catch ocean fish at Santee.
do you? Okay.
Well, it's dammed.
You can lock
That's
through.
how those fish accidentally got impounded in there. They swam up the spawn in the Cooper River.
That was before they built the dam, though. That's how they got
No,
locked.
that
is
was
they built
after
the
they
dam.
built the
So
dam.
here's the thing. Yeah, there's
I
a
know.
dam
Locked
down
them
there,
through.
but
They got landlocked because of the dam.
Apparently menhaden come and go in Santee. So if they can come and go, somehow the striper are able to get in there too.
I'm assuming, JR, that they're coming through the lock because, like I said, the river herring show up that, and the other fish that show up in Santee that aren't there but certain times of the year, they got to be coming through the locks. I think. I mean, I don't know that.
Yeah,
That's how they
But
say
shit,
the
you know,
I don't
stripes
think
get in there.
I don't think the migratory stripers go that far south anymore, and they used to. I remember we used to go fish for in Oregon Inlet all the time, and I don't think anybody's catching any migratory striped bass in North Carolina at all anymore.
Well, I was told that what happened there was where they came into that inlet, JR, was after the hurricane. That water that was 20 foot deep, it washed in the hurricane and it put a shoal there that's like 4 foot.
Yeah.
Which the stripers could obviously still swim across, but for whatever reason, they won't.
Yeah. I'm afraid.
Have you heard that? Like I was down there.
I haven't heard that.
I don't know whether you ever been. It was amazing. There's a place at Wilmington called. It's the nicest tackle shop. It's called Texas Bait and Tackle or Texas Bait Shop, whatever. They had a bragging board behind it. I mean, gigantic freaking stripers. I was like, holy crap. And he said that was the locals. There was some creek that they were coming into, and that's what the guy told me. He said it was after a hurricane. We haven't had those fish come in. He said we had all those fish to ourselves, and there were a lot of 50s in there, JR. And that's what the guy told me. He said it washed it in, like not to where they couldn't come, but he said it just, for whatever reason, the fish just bypassed that. And that was during that 10, 11 or 9, 10, 11, 12, like when we were catching those 3 mile fish.
I think
those fish were coming into those bays, not bays, into those canals then.
I want those days to come back.
Yeah.
I miss that.
I think Thomas Walker there mentioned something about the fish coming through, but yeah, as far as the lice, it was on both fish that I had them. It was on the pec fin each time.
So when you see these lice on the fish, and so we had like multiple fish on that were big fish, Peter, that came up on the back, and the gulls will actually go. They look like they're attacking your fish, but when the fish come up, when you get one on a really long planer board and he comes up and he's to the top, and you're having to fight a 45, 48-pound fish at the top, and he's up, is that the sea lice, for whatever reason, because he's flopping on top or coming off, and the birds are just diving, eating that sea lice. There's so much of it. It's not a little bit. It's a lot of.
Yeah. I figured those saltwater fish for sure got a shit ton on them, but yeah, these I speak of like one or two. Wasn't like, wasn't very noticeable unless you looked hard, but it was definitely sea lice for sure.
And if you don't get that sea lice off of you, it will definitely embed in your skin. Sea lice will get on your ass. You better make sure you don't take one of it home.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Oh my goodness! There's that Zebco.
That's a catfishing machine right there.
Is that what is that?
Is it? Can I catch a striper on that?
I doubt it.
I mean, the question is, we're probably going to go something like 4 for 7, 5 for 8. Do you want to waste one of those taking a chance on a spin cast? That would be an awesome video, though.
That's what I'm wondering.
Well, hell, let's do it.
He wants that video opportunity.
What
sure
pound line are y'all normally fishing? What's your tackle?
We're going to have to put up with a very angry Wes if we lose a fish because of that. I can go.
I'm using 30 pound. I use 30 pound big game mono and 30 pound leader.
Okay, cool.
What do you think, Wes? You want to use a spin cast reel?
I think we can do it.
Hey,
I do. Well, let's do this. Let's catch a fish first, so we can say we got a fish, and then we'll play games.
Okay.
So I can tell you that if you get in the birds, you can keep either a bucktail or a large swim bait, and you can cast in and get some 30s on suspending gear that's fun.
Oh no, we're talking about a spin. You weren't here to see, but we're actually talking about a spin cast reel. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
like a Zebco 33.
Yeah, I don't think so.
What is that? Is that a 733 or 808 or?
I think the eel might break that line.
33 max. See, this is the max, which tells me that because it's the max, it should be able to handle those.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it can handle it. I got faith in Zebco. I think
I can get one in. I think I can get one in. I think I want to get spooled. I want to get my butt kicked on it, but
the eel will break that line.
I was gonna say the eel might strip that thing out for real.
Yeah.
I don't think 30 pounds going to work on. I think we may have to go with like maybe 20. What do you got on there, Dieter?
Dude, it's whatever came on it when they said
8 pound test line.
I will spool it up. First, I'm gonna look up the line class records for stripers, and then we'll go from there. So, yeah.
There you go.
More 50 and 60 pound catfish has been caught on a Zebco 33 than any other reel made.
Oh my God! Hush! Stop it. I don't know about 50 and 60 pounders, but more catfish have been caught on a Zebco 33. I would like to have $1 for every one that's.
I believe more fish in general has been caught on a 33 than any other reel made.
100%.
Yeah.
How much drag are y'all running? How much drag you running?
I'm running about 10 to 12 pounds.
Okay.
So what?
What'd you say out of this?
Huh?
What'd you say you're running?
About 10 to 12 pounds of drag.
I can get 10 or 12 out of this.
That'll be fun.
My worries line capacity. That will be the thing. But
I usually start off with 10 or 12, but for anybody out there that don't understand physics, Dieter, you'll know what I'm talking about. Peter, you may. There, I don't know. Anyway, if you start out with a spool,
Peter, a freaking pilot. There you go. Yeah. Peter may know something about physics.
Yeah. Okay, when you start out with a spool, say you got a reel that's spooled up, fully spooled. The more line that comes off of that reel, the harder your drag's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't understand that. That's why they want to tighten the drag when they start losing line. Your drag's tightening itself because of the ratio. You got a big spool lines coming off of, and the more that line, the smaller that spool gets, the harder that drag gets. Mm-hmm. That's why I tell people, the only thing I'm funny about on my boat, don't fuck with my drag.
Another thing is the more line you get out in the water, the more you get the hydrostatic pressure on the line.
So I ain't going to argue with you, Wes, but you're not bringing in. You're not. I don't know what you're measuring your drag with, but you're not bringing those fish in on 12-pounder drag unless you spend an hour.
12 to 15 pounds of drag, buddy. I've been bringing fish up there for 4 years. My biggest 56 pounds and didn't have no trouble getting it in.
He's not even here to argue. He said, I'm out.
Right.
that's actually 10 to 12 pounds of drag. But I wouldn't argue with you. I'm just telling you.
15 pounds of drag. You're talking about 15 pounds is a lot of drag, brother.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot more than you think it is.
If you only need 15 pounds of drag, why aren't you just fishing with ambassadors then?
Because I want them to last. Dude,
can I bring an ancient mariner and we catch one on net?
When I'm wahoo fishing, I'm only running 18 pounds of drag, 18 to 22.
As long as you admit it's a rebadged Ming Yang, sure.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, people, this shit with drags. People talking about oh man, this reel's got 40 pounds of drag. Ain't nobody using no fucking 40 pounds of drag. I mean, if you lock the reel down at 40 pounds, your ass is going in the water trying to hold a rod with 40 pounds of drag on it. I mean, this shit with drag and people 10 or 12 pounds of drag, like I said, maybe sometime I've got 4 rods set up right now with 15 pounds of drag for the long lines. You'll never use that much. I never have. I've caught 55-pound fish up there, 10, 12 pounds of drag.
You better be in pretty decent shape.
I'll tell you what, Daryl, I'll bring a scale with us and
that's my only question.
We'll measure the drag.
Think about it, Daryl. Pick up 10 pounds. Think about this, though. Pick up just 10 pounds. Pick up 10 pounds dead weight with your hand and tell me how many times you can do it. Or better yet, let me set a drag reel at 10 pounds and tie it to your belt loop and you run 100 yards and tell me if you can make it 100 yards with 12 pounds of resistance against you.
So what we've been doing, because we've been running 10 and 12 reels, is running the drag at about 10 or 15 pounds. So when that planer board runs, we can clear the other lines without making a mess. Because if you run a lot of drag, your lines, and think about it, your planer boards are going into all the other planer boards. So we let that planer board clear, and then we tighten down our drag and bring the fish in, because then we can control it. And that's a great, I don't, whether you like it, I'm just telling you, been doing it. The trick works is, you run a lighter drag and then tighten down on it. But I don't want to have that fish. For me, I want 20 pound of drag, 22, maybe even 24. When I get that fish closer, when I got him in control, because I want to get him in and get him back in the water. And it's just so, and to keep him out of the motor. So when you're running, to be able to, I call it the steering wheel. Y'all probably heard me on some of my videos. It's like, damn, church, use your steering wheel on your rod. You know what I mean? Don't point it at the motor, point it to the side. And I'm not talking about lockdown drag. We're talking about 48-pound fish that at 22 pound of drag still just rip off all they want. You know what I mean? So it's not like you're running.
I'm going to man the drag. What I call man the drag.
To my point, I'm saying that if you were running 15, not that it won't work, but you're just defeating yourself. You're just keeping that fish on twice as long.
Right, because you cook onto a fish. You're not sitting still. You're continuing to troll. You could bring it in 15 easily if you were sitting still.
You're also fighting that current, and you're just getting your
tide.
If you run 15 pound of drag, JR, you're just getting your ass whooped for an extra 15 minutes for nothing.
Just get the fish in, man the drag. And
listen, Daryl, you're not fighting the fish with the drag, brother. You're fighting the fish with the rod.
You can always use your thumb.
I catch 50-pound wahoo.
Agree,
I catch 50-pound wahoo with 18 pounds of drag.
You got to remember, I'm fishing striper stales. That they have a lot of bow in them, so I am 100% whooping that fish with the rod.
With a striper stale. With a striper stale. Oh, well, you might be whooping them with drag if you're using the striper stale, but you ain't gonna see one of them on my boat. Well, I got Perez's, baby.
I'm gonna man the drag. If I'm fishing and I'm fighting a fish, I know how to loosen and tighten the drag.
Striper stealth rod.
Please don't mess with my drags. That'll upset the shit out of me.
Damn. Someone do it. Just
confession,
please.
JR, how many 45? You caught a 49-pound fish on my boat, didn't you? How long did it take you? Less than 10 or 12 minutes?
Wes, I have a confession. Every fish I've ever caught on your boat, I've manned the drag. I've adjusted it as I needed to. I'm a professional fish. I can fish. I can man a drag. If I need less drag,
I've never seen you mess with my lever drag.
I've learned the hard way.
It's called a thumb, Wes.
I've lost fish.
That's right.
I've lost fish from tightening drag, and I know exactly how to tighten drag without losing a fish. I can man a drag. I'm not an amateur. I don't need anyone telling me.
See you do it because we'll have a big falling out. I'll go all to hell.
Damn.
Everybody fuck with my stuff. I've been catching big fish up there for 5 years.
That's what I do.
12 to 15 pounds of drag. They never had an issue.
Someone who fishes quite regular, they know like when to thumb a drag and they know when to release if that dang fish is gonna pull back.
They know you need spin casters. You can't thumb them. You can't thumb the drag on these.
Listen, Wes, this is not an argument. I'm just telling you, if you
I'm listening.
If you truly run 15-pound of drag on those, and the first 46 to 48-pound fish you have on, that bastard is going to be everywhere. Yeah, he's going to freaking wipe
Wes,
out.
Wes has yelled. He's yelled at me for adjusting the drag before, and I just. It's one of those things where you know how when someone tells you not to do something and you just tell them okay and just do what you want. That's what I do.
Tell them about eye resistance. See if they know anything about that. I know you do. Anybody know anything about the eye resistance?
I'm not touching
eye resistance.
Yeah, exactly. Tell them, dude. They don't.
No. I'll tell you. I'll admit I don't know anything about eye resistance.
I'm not. I can't get into the actual scientifics of it. I'm telling you, on Bill's boat, we're running striper stales. I'm telling you, they're very forgiving. I'm not here to represent. Every one of my own, I bought full price. You know, is that the best rod I've ever used? That's up for debate. I'll tell you this. I fish Tennessee. I fish a lot of ladies, and that's nothing against ladies. I fish a lot of kids. And everybody on here knows if you ever fish a striper stale, they have a lot of give at the end of the line. If they throw the rod at the water, it still will not unload. If you understand what I'm saying, that a striper stale plus mono line has so much forgiveness that they can just drop the rod and still not give that fish slack.
Right, it remains loaded up.
Exactly.
It's a very parabolic rod.
That is for, and I'm not even going to say amateurs because I like them. I mean,
it is, but it's also for experts. Some people prefer that. I prefer that.
But let's face it, we all make mistakes, right? And that thing is very, very forgiving with that tip the way it is.
I found that rod to be probably one of the better ones for what I do on planter board as well.
And that's what I put them with, Peter. Because I don't. You don't want to braise.
It cushions it. It's like holding a cup of coffee when you're going down the road.
If you pull a broomstick on a plater board, the stripers in Tennessee is going to turn loose of it. They're going to feel too much. You know what I mean? They're going to.
Especially if you're using circle hooks, you want that parabolic man.
I used heavy tiger rods in Tennessee for years. I never had no trouble with them feeling nothing. Well,
a tiger rod is predominantly glass, so it's parabolic. Even your heavy.
Well, I mean, it's still a heavy rod.
I get that, Wes, but I mean, what 80% of the time you cut bait?
No, I pull boards a lot. There again, I used extra heavy tiger light rods all year last year on Chesapeake Bay.
I understand you poured boards.
Never had no trouble with losing fish.
But 80% of the time you were sitting on a cut bait bite, right?
No, not 80%. I cut bait a lot, but I pulled a lot of boards up there too. Hell, I make planer boards. You know, if I'm taking the trouble to make them, I'm gonna pull them.
I damn sure don't know.
He's pulled the paint off of them up there.
Hey, Wes,
I pulled the paint off of them.
I do not know that you make planer boards.
Wes, if I get some of your planer boards down at Hartwell, I want a fucking autograph on the backside of them so I can say I got them from a legend.
Homeboy boards.
There you go. Yeah, right. Homeboy in the back with a marker.
I can't get a homeboy board for nothing.
You know why?
Nothing can I get.
You know why? Because you can't go to Alibaba and get them. You have to actually make them some bitches.
Hey, listen, I've got 12 sets out there right now, and I've got almost 8 hours in cutting, forming, putting together swivels, rings, glue. I mean, it's just time consuming.
Everybody supports these Alibaba companies. They don't nobody support these guys that are making stuff by hand.
Wes, if I ask you one single time how much they cost?
No.
There you go. Put your time into them. Charge me your time. Those pull good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing,
They are
nothing
my
pulls like
favorite
those things.
boards. We had like
Oh,
5
hell.
sets on Bill's boat. They
You know
are
these,
my favorite
you know these
boards.
professional looking boards that you're seeing nowadays. It's got the thick, real professional looking, smooth, closed cell foam. You know what all that is yoga blocks. Guys are ordering
All
yoga
it
blocks
is
in
is
bulk and cutting
over-engineered.
the yoga blocks and making boards out of it.
So y'all know my best friend, blah blah blah. Guess who just got 6 sets of alpha boards?
Who?
Johnson.
Anthony? Did he?
Yeah, he's the new test guru. I said.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, I've heard they're good boards, but they dive.
that's exactly what happened to me. And mine never dove on a fish. If that alpha board ever dives on a fish in Chesapeake Bay, you'll never get him in. I fought my ass off. I had two. Now I had two.
Can you not just trip the board? Can you not while you're fighting the fish?
I had 2 of those boards dive on me after they tripped. They dove.
Oh, okay, I see.
Because the arm folds in and they dove.
Yeah, right.
It's a great idea, and I'm not here to down alpha boards, but when you hold one of them in your hand, it doesn't have to be that complicated, guys. It does not.
Why? What's making it dive like that?
To be honest, JR, I'm not certain.
Versus other boards.
It is
because
like
all boards you'll get that diving effect, almost like it's
like
an inline
fighting
planer.
a 30-pound fish to get it in.
I don't think that's unusual though, because I've had that problem with just about every planer board. I mean, all the way down to a water bugs. You know, once it trips and slides down to the bead, you know, you got that, what like Dieter said, you got that hydrostatic resistance on that planer board, and it kind of wants to dive with you. So I imagine like any planer board, especially the larger ones, could be a hassle trying to get in.
I'm not telling you that they have never ever. Just by accident, when I started, I'm just telling you, just pure, but because I needed some boards and big fish at them, I run Captain Max, and I like them.
Mm-hmm. What type of board are those?
They're
aluminum.
Yes. So no. Captain. Well, to get one, show you. So.
Oh, Captain Mac, the guy from down in.
The one that does he only does striper stuff.
Yeah.
His boards have worked good for me everywhere I've been.
So I have a set of boards I normally use around here, you know, the big yellow boards that I have several of, and I am starting to run out. Get them, you know, they blow up my boat occasionally down the lake, whatever.
Now, what kind of boards are those? Are they?
That's what I'm trying to get to. They are no longer made. The guy, and Daryl knows, Maynard Edwards.
Right.
He sold his company and everything. And so, you know, I did love those boards a lot for what I did, at least. And I can't find them no more because he no longer sells them. So now I got to find the alternate.
What material do you have on the?
It's aluminum with a piece of foam.
Like pool noodle type? Like
it
that?
Looks almost like that. Yeah.
Those pull the best, man.
That's simple.
Yeah.
Those things pull so good.
That's why I'm hoping Wes will either give me or sell me a pair or 2 pair, and you know.
Yes. And me and Patrick fished last week, and one of my boys, he's still got the old castaways. My board, is 3 castaways is light. He said my board, there's a difference in weight in almost 3 of the castaways. 3 of my boards weighs about what 1 castaway does.
So Peter, you need to check with Cody. Because those boards that Josh are making, they just need a little bit of perfection and running. They're not bad.
Those B-casts look good, Dieter.
So,
and that's my question. What would be wrong with these? Now, these are great for catfishing. They got a big rudder, a lot of foam, gives you a lot of resistance with a Santee rig dragging the bottom, 3 ounces of weight.
Who's
a lot of
there?
foam. It's thick. The bad thing, obviously, you would probably not want this clip. This is one that ratchets tight on the line in case you get snagged up and break it off. You could easily replace it with a regular.
What board is that, Dieter?
It's a B-cat.
Yeah.
So
he don't want it. It's got cat on it. You know what?
No. I didn't have a problem with them, The B cat boards that I pulled, and they may have changed them, was wanted to ride nose down on me.
Well, the Zach Royce boards, I tried them one time in the tail race down there pulling trout, and all
The
mine
Chris Hovis boards.
They
Mhm.
nose dive real
Same.
bad.
I think that foam material on those boards they're the same type that you have on the water bugs. And I think that's what the majority of, in the early
Hey, for
years.
if you're pulling small bait herring, it's hard to beat a damn water bug. I mean, I
man, I
got,
love
and
them.
the double foam water bugs, they're hard to beat. I mean, they're tough. They're like bulletproof.
I love them.
This is that roller material, that high density EVA foam crap that's on these things.
I love
They
water
take a
bugs
beating.
on baiting. I don't know whether you ever pull them or not, Peter, but they work good.
For me, they do not because of speed.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying for live bait.
What's he talking about? Water bugs?
So I have like no joke 3 sets of water bugs in my little storage unit here that have been sitting there for the last 10 plus years.
You say they don't run good because of speed?
Yeah.
Because they trip too easily?
Correct. Yeah.
Well, you could just put a different clip on them, though.
They're not big enough.
No, I don't know, Pete. Them water bugs that the last set I bought, that clip had that rubber insert in it.
Yeah.
Them things were pretty strong.
It was the same thing, but
Pete's also probably trolling A-rigs with them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
But
a
for
little too small.
little 4-inch herring.
So I'm gonna show y'all some of my junk pile of the Hovis boards. This is what I got. I'm turning it around.
Junk pile Hovis boards. Damn.
Look at that pile.
So you tell me that Hovis made fucking junk bait tanks and boards both? Damn.
No. I mean, I don't know. These came with the boat when I bought them, and they literally have everything from aluminum rods to freaking. Well, I'll turn it around again. I mean, can you see the quality in that threaded rod there? That's a steel threaded rod that he used.
Yeah, mine worked good for what they were. They did not pull heavy weights. They needed more foam resistance. It seemed like they'd be good striper fishing, but they just didn't have the resistance with the foam, I think, to set a circle hook. I didn't get as much out of them. Plus, anytime you use that styrofoam, it's going to disintegrate and break, and you're going to end up having to shave it off with a knife in a couple of years and re-gluing it on there.
That's
Plus,
cool.
these are anodized blue. Sexy.
That's how pretty this motherfucker is.
Ooh, fancy.
It's all about the clip.
Got the Scotty clip on there.
Yep.
Scotty.
Well, Wes, you gonna see how I troll artificial here maybe on on Thursday. We'll see.
All right.
You gonna see.
Where are you going to be Thursday, Pete?
What's that?
SBC.
Where are you going to be Thursday?
Hartwell.
Are you going to fish the tournament Saturday?
Yep.
Well, hey, what did Perry say about the liquor bet?
He said, okay, that's it. Why you ask, Dieter?
Oh, it's there's a part of me wants to go, but I'd have to get back in time. I got something going on that night. That looked like it would be a fun one with the rain. So
I know, right?
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Jeff,
I'm excited for 38 degrees in the rain.
I'll tell you a
who
little
are you
tip.
fishing it with?
Cody.
Okay.
From fishing with Wes, I'll give you a little tip, Jeff. Adjust it, but make sure you remember how many clicks you adjusted it. That way you can set it back so he doesn't know.
Damn. Or live that I didn't touch nothing. That wasn't me. Right? You can do that too.
How many
Captain
big fish have I
Derail.
caught? I don't never mess with my drag. I don't know. I'm not going to mess with nothing. Hell, when you're wahoo fishing, you're talking about the second fastest fish in the fucking world, and you're only pulling 18 to 22 pounds of drag.
Yeah,
Who the fuck needs 25 pounds of drag for a fucking striped bass? Are you kidding me? Come on, man.
I don't know how many pounds. I
real.
don't adjust. When I set
Let's
my
be
drag,
real.
I pull the line until the rod bends, and then it starts creeping drag at max bend. That's where I set my
See.
drag.
I don't think a lot of people actually put a scale on their drag.
I do mine.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think a lot of people do, because I've had some people think they've got a hell of a lot more drag on their stuff than they actually do.
I mean, I know how to set drag. I know how to adjust drag during fighting a fish.
Your drag set, say you've got a 10-eye, say you've got a 6, 8-eye rod. When you start bending that rod, you've got resistance on every one of those eyes with that line. You got to feel flat. You know, I mean, like I said, I caught a 50-pound wahoo last year with 18 pounds of drag. Didn't have no trouble getting into the boat. So I don't know.
I think adjusting the drag during a fight with something that is like a lever drag is maybe more doable, because you can actually tape mark where your points are. But like a star drag, you're never going to know where the hell anything's at. It's hard to come back.
It depends. If it's a star drag that clicks, then
you can throw
that's the most user-friendly drag adjustment there is.
If I move my star drag, I reach and pull the line off. I know, JR, you probably did that. Like, as soon as you make one click, you reach and grab your handle with the other hand and pull a foot off, right?
Yep.
That's what the click is for. Yeah. When you're adjusting your drag, you don't ever adjust it more than 1 or 2 clicks at a time, because you don't want to break a fish off because you adjusted the drag too tightly.
Okay, suppose you got 100 yards of line out and you pull that drag with your hand a foot or two. Say that feels pretty good. But when you reel that reel up, and you've gotten that spool's got bigger, then you're gonna have a whole lot less drag than you had when you pulled it when your spool was that big.
Exactly. I'm aware of all that. I know all about drag inertia and how it creates more drag when you have less line on the spool. I've been doing this for a long time.
I just don't like nobody messing with my drags. I catch fish with them like that, and that's the way I like them. I mean, I don't mess with people shipping.
All right, I won't mess with it.
Damn,
I
boy.
apologize.
Damn.
I won't mess with it. I'm sorry.
No, JR, you can thumb it all you want to.
All right, so let's change the subject back to SBC. What do y'all think is going to be the winning weight for Saturday?
Hold on, AJR. You know I'm just messing with you, right, buddy?
I mean, why would you invite someone?
But he will throw you off the boat.
Let them adjust your drag. It's like getting a. It's like I'm not even gonna say that, but it's like doing something. It's like drag racing or something like that, and a guy telling you, you better not single leg it. You better double the clutch. You better, like, if you're gonna let me drag race your car, let me drag it. Let me.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't come out of third gear.
Yeah, I mean, let me do. If I'm on I mean, you gotta have. I'm
arguing about drag. We're down to 4 fucking viewers.
We're competent.
No, we've got 33 viewers.
We have 33 viewers. I mean, we're competent. We've all been doing this a long time now. I mean, I've taken people fishing that have let me down. I've given people confidence that I shouldn't have. But I think you and I've been fishing long enough to where you can trust me with a rod in my hand.
I'm trying to switch my trip because I'm gonna be y'all are gonna be gone when I get there the next trip. So
I took a guy to fishing and I put him on a trophy fish and he high sticked it and he let slack in the line and he lost the fish. You know, I put a lot of faith in him and he let me down, but that's part of it. It's okay. I slept fine that night. I mean, if I take you fishing, if I take you and put you on a trophy flathead and, you know, and you fuck around and you lose it and it's your fault, you know, I'm not going to be mad. It's okay. It's part of it. It's fishing. It's part of the whole.
But see, look here, just like what I was trying to tell you, Daryl, Mike Bradford, same thing. Sword fishing now, 18 to 25 pounds of drag. And you're talking about a fish that weighs 500-600 pounds. Yeah. I think drag is one of the most, these people look at these reels. Hey man, I'm buying this reel. It's got 40 pounds of drag. Nobody ever uses 40 pounds of drag.
No, I think that the high drag rating is the smooth.
No, and I never said use 40, Wes.
I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying. Look, you're talking about sailfish, swordfish. 18.
Let me explain this. Let me explain this. I have reels that have 50 pounds max drag. Yeah. I'm never going to fish that reel at 50 pounds max drag, but it requires less inertia to get the spool moving on the drag washers. It doesn't have to work as hard, so it's a smoother drag. So the higher drag rating doesn't mean you're going to use all that drag. It just means that you have just like a 6500
on lower ratings.
Yeah, you have a like an ambassador that has a max drag of what, 12 pounds, and then you take a lever drag reel that could have a max drag of 40. At 50 at 10 pounds of drag, that reel that has 40 pounds of drag is going to be a lot smoother than that reel that has a max drag of 12 pounds.
Yeah, and then there again, you're talking about how fast that fish is running, how often, or so I mean. Those Talica reels I've got. That's why I spent so much money on reels. They're smooth. I want them to stay smooth.
If you're only going to use 15 pound of drag, why buy a Talica? Why not fish with a 7,000 ambassador wheels?
I literally just explained that.
Because using 15 pounds of drag on a 7,000 will last about 2 days.
And it's smoother. It's smoother.
Yeah, it's not.
A reel that has 15 pounds of drag,
different reel, buddy.
and you max it out at 15 pounds.
Getting tired here arguing about drags and this and that. Fuck's sake. Damn.
Well, even though we're arguing, we're still going into depth about the mechanics of drag. So we're still.
No one cares. No.
A reel that has Daryl. If you got a reel that's got a 15-pound max drag, and you max it out at 15 pounds, and you got a reel that has 50 pounds of max drag, and you put it up, you set it at 15 pounds. The reel that has 50 pounds max drag is going to be smoother than the reel.
Oh no! I mean, I don't have the best reels, but I have the smoothest drag on. I think for a $200 reel, a Dakota has the smoothest drag ever.
I agree with that. Dakotas are awesome.
But I've also figured out that I asked, why aren't you using Dakotas in the 600 series? And you want a non-level line because the level line is the failure point of those when you're catching those 40-pound stripers over and over and over. So
13 viewers.
27 viewers.
No,
you don't have the access me and Jerry R does.
You're right.
We have YouTube as well, Pete.
Yeah.
So we got a couple on YouTube that's watching. I'll tell you what we
pretty
should
good.
do.
It seems like it's getting up over the years.
Over the years, we're up to 20 people over 4 years.
Guys, I'll tell y'all, I hope everybody has 20 fish days in the bay. Peter, I hope you get to finally catch something that's freaking bigger than a 6-pound freaking hybrid. I just hope you do. I wish you would take a couple of them with you to use for bait if you keep them alive. I really do.
Hey, homeboy. I fish for what's available in front of me. All right, don't be.
I meant to ask you.
Hit baiting.
I got you, but
6-7
I
pound
got
fish,
you, but I truly want to see how you act when you.
Hey, listen. I will say this. It takes more skill to catch a 5-pound hybrid on Lake Norman than it does to catch a 50-pound striper.
Daryl.
Bullshit.
Daryl. I've caught a 51-pound fish, so therefore I'm not,
I didn't say you hadn't. I didn't mean
that. No. I'm saying out of the bay, I've caught a 51-pounder. That's why I'm like, I'm not that person that's like, oh, let's go to the bay kind of thing, because I've already done it and it doesn't really doesn't excite me to hustle to get out there.
Hell.
You know why? It's because no one in your circle does it. You're a product of your environment.
How you catching 40-pound stripe? You love striper and hybrid fishing.
Yeah.
How could catching multiples in a day of 40-pound plus?
Oh, I get it.
Not be exciting just because you got a 52.
Maybe because it's too easy out there. That's why.
Everybody that doesn't do it, that's what they say.
Don't get me started on this fucking easy button shit.
That's what they say, Wes. Anybody that don't do it, they say it's because it's too easy.
Well, hey, there again, get your boat, go buy you some meals. And
it's like this.
For 3 days.
If you want me to be honest with you, why don't I do it frequently? Because I got to pick my battles. Do I want to drive 6 hours and fish a striper? Or do I want to drive 3 hours and fish for tuna or wahoo? It's like
Peter, I get all that, but you said that it didn't excite you to be able to go to do it.
That's when he was fucking with us. He just told us the truth.
Really it doesn't excite me to go, honestly. I mean, it's great to hang out and catch a few fish, whatever. But what excites me is going out there to the Gulf Stream and fishing for a wahoo, which I hadn't fucking done.
There you go.
The weather fucking sucks, but
Hell yeah, fishing for wahoo with a goddamn 15, 18 pounds of drag. That's the shit.
Yeah. I'll be honest,
Facebook user
that is
said
not
four
as much
four
fun to
viewers
me
on
as
Facebook.
flipping cut bait at a damn mahi and getting to watch him while the bait's in the air. He's running towards the bait and hitting it as soon as it hits the water and just tail walking.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, boy. Them wahoos, something serious. It fucked me up on shark
Yeah,
fishing.
but I'm talking about not trolling. I'm talking about finding the fish and flipping on them. That is just like
I love that shit too. And speaking of which, by the way, speaking of mahi and all that, I actually shifted my vacation this year to the last week of April. So I plan on probably spending the whole fucking week down the beach and hopefully doing that. So yeah.
What, March?
Last week of April. All right. So SBC, what do y'all think is going to be the winning weight for Saturday?
20 pounds.
21 pounds.
No.
2 fish weigh in.
Yeah. Why do you think 21 pounds when it at least got some 20-pound fish? And
because that's what it's been being on a cold.
Usually, whoever wins it, they catch a good fish, and then they catch a kicker. So they'll probably have like a 17-pound fish for their big fish, and then like a 4-pound fish for their kicker.
Look at the history, the past few tournaments, Peter.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, the weather's setting up the same.
Well, no, hey, I'm looking at the weather right now, and we got lows. Tomorrow's 32, Thursday's 27, Friday's 34, and Saturday has changed. They were calling 32, now 34. I don't think it's going to be a big front issue. I mean, 'cause we've had pretty steady weather, freezing at night for the last week and a half.
If you want my opinion on things, I think the stage is set for a pretty good big fish bite. I think this cold weather that's coming in is still, well, let's just say it's still seasonably cold. There hasn't been no cold snap. I think everything is right for a good big fish bite. Now, it all depends on how the weather gets nasty. Let me finish real quick. So if this so-called front comes in and let's say we wake up at 7 a.m. and it's dumping rain, then I think it's not going to be a good,
There's not a front coming in. It's
a low pressure. Okay.
It's just a little bit of rain. Well, a lot of rain.
If rain comes in around, let's say 10, 11, 12 o'clock, but the morning's pretty good, I think there's going to be some pretty good fish caught. So my guess is 33 pounds.
So what kind of odds you give me? I'm taking skipper versus the field. What kind of odds was anybody on here give me?
I mean, skipper is the home field advantage cat there. So,
Can I take Brian Bear?
I mean, you take anybody you want.
Oh, Lord. Let's not even mention him.
27-24. There's my number.
33-3 market.
I like Pete's because he's going out on a limb. Everybody's saying in the 20s. That's kind of that's the easy button.
It will not be over 23 pounds.
Let's go really low or let's go really high.
It will not be over 23
pounds. That's my bet.
23.
It won't be by me. I promise you that.
Somebody write it down, or we got a video. I say 23.
Yeah, we got a video.
Yeah. All right.
I said something earlier, but I can't remember what it was. I'm going to say 17. Whoever wins the tournament, their big fish will be 17, and their kicker will be 4.
6.
5.
Yeah, there you go. I'm with you, Joe.
So I'm going 20,
last year,
22 pounds.
Daryl Barney beat me by a fucking egg sinker.
Hey, I still beat you.
We got weights and fish.
Right. That was a good time, though. I'll tell you, that was probably the funnest tournament I fished last year. So I'm hoping.
I'm pissed that I'm not fishing it. I really am, but it's.
Why don't you fish it?
It's good.
It's too late now.
It's a good time.
Oh, it's too late to register. I don't like how they do that. I think that they ought to let you register all the way up until freaking blast off.
I get why they do it, but at the same time,
day one, you should be able to register.
I was going to get in one last year, and I was like 10 minutes late to registering. That's stupid.
It doesn't make any sense.
I agree.
I don't get it because it's not like 100 people's going to register at the last moment and they can't feed them, right?
I mean, yeah. Yeah, let people get in it. I mean, maybe if you called them and said, "Hey, listen,
you know what?
Maybe they would let you in."
John Longus is in charge of the accounting for the Striped Bass Challenge, so ask him why.
Is he really?
Yeah.
We're supposed to got on here tonight. I don't know what happened.
Supposed to, sold out on us.
I mean, the guy's got kids.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's busy.
You're overrated.
33-3 market. That's my guess.
It's on video. So
It's a 2-fish limit, right?
Correct. Yeah.
yes. What is? Are you over there doing math, Dieter? Like, he's over there.
Yeah, 26, 12. Yeah. I may have been at 2 pounds high. 25-4.
That's your final
Write that
answer.
down.
That's your final guess.
Yeah, final answer 25-4.
Hartwell really pissed me off last year, big time. That's my first big tournament, and of all the tournaments I did last year, Hartwell was my big disappointment. And the other ones, I felt like we executed a perfect game plan, even though we didn't win or finish top 5, whatever. We did what we could. But I'm gonna change my my ways on Hartwell this year, so we'll see. I went to chase that one bite versus multiple bites, if that makes sense. So yeah.
That's what you're gonna do this year.
No, this year I'm going to go chase multiple bites versus one bite.
Oh, I got you. But you're still
Hey,
trolling artificial.
right now, hey, Dieter, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Boy, right now, Monday looks good. I don't know who's telling you.
Monday looks really
Yeah.
good, and Thursday and Friday look really good. Tuesday looks horrendous. It's like 2 inches of rain.
I was trying to describe to Wes that I have an important thing happening next week, and that's my recurrent for the airlines. And I had to tell him that I need a couple days to study for all that. So that's why it'll be kind of hard for me to do the 2 days prior, if that makes sense.
Hey, what's the preliminary, Pete, from Japan? Did that Coast Guard plane pull onto an active runway?
I haven't really looked at it in depth, but usually it's either the aircraft's fault or the tower's fault. So I don't know.
It's a mess.
So, Wes, do you think that Dieter, when are you coming?
That's a good question. It depends. I've got to do the Panthers game now on Sunday, so it depends whether what time we it should be over quickly. What time we get out, whether I drive down that night or drive down Monday morning. Since
Daryl's
Wes
having
doesn't go
issues.
fishing before like 9 o'clock, I could probably get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and drive down there and beat him to the boat landing.
That's what I was going to say, Wes. Do you want to try to do Monday since Monday's the only good? Well, Monday is a good day.
Well, I thought y'all had planned on Monday and Tuesday was y'all's days.
Well,
So-
I told you, I got flexibility.
Well, he said Tuesday's not good.
I think Tuesday and Wednesday are both shot. If
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I've never fished out there, but I would if I saw 15 to 20 on Lake Moultrie, I'd probably stay off the water, and I'm sure that place is even worse with falling current and tides and everything. So
It depends on how far north
Monday
we're
looks
able to
really
go.
good. And Tuesday's going to blow at about 8 a.m. We're going to have, at about 11 a.m. You're going to have 30-mile-an-hour winds all the way up to 40 and gust up to 65.
oh, it's gotten worse since I looked. Good God. We need to just go out there and look at that. That'll be fun to look at.
Wow. So I'll tell you what.
If I had a
Here's-
sea arc, I'd go out
Here's
there.
the game
Not
plan.
anything else.
Here's the game plan, guys. We go fish striper Monday. Okay. Swing for the fences. We'll probably go 6 for 8. Whatever we do, we'll go fish. We'll go catch some fish Monday. Okay.
Strip Club Tuesday, I'm in.
Then we go get some rest, wake up at the butt crack of dawn, and make a beeline for the James River and catch anchor up and cut bait. I know where we can catch bait. We're good. Let's go catch some trophy catfish.
I'm definitely
on
out.
Tuesday.
I don't do fucking catfish.
So, are you contemplating on coming up, Pete? Monday?
I'm trying not. I can't do Monday. I'm actually working Monday, Tuesday. I'm literally leaving the SBC on Saturday, hauling ass home. I fly out Sunday and I work Monday, Tuesday. I come
It'd be
back.
awesome if you could. That
I
way,
know.
me and you could be the workhorses, and Dieter could be free to film.
Sadly, I
everything.
dropped my January down to minimum hours, and so I'm only on for 2 days next week. And well, those 2 days happen to be Monday, Tuesday.
I'm
So,
gonna try
Wes,
to-
you're still fishing Thursday and Friday, correct? Or driving back
It
Friday?
won't look like it. Well, yeah, Thursday and Friday looks like Tuesday. Boy, listen, Tuesday is fucking brutal, dude.
Yeah.
Tuesday's done. I think. I think
I
Wednesday
believe
is too.
Wednesday is too.
Give it a couple
Are
of
you
days,
driving
guys.
back
You'll
Saturday?
go fast.
Oh, that's really. Let me check Chesapeake. That's in the southern. That's a little bit southern. That's around Cape Charles. Let's see.
Dude, if it's 60, it's gonna be 60 every.
No, I'm talking about for Wednesday, buddy.
Hey, it might be different 20 miles north. Come on.
Yeah.
No, we still got 30-mile-an-hour winds with 48 gusts.
I'm just saying.
So,
I'm just
you're
saying.
there's a
80,
chance.
70 and
Look
80
at
pound blue
Thursday.
cats.
Tuesday and Wednesday's blowing.
Thursday it's like 5 to 10, and like Friday it's like light and variable. So of course that is
That's how it
long way
goes,
out.
man. That's how it goes, right?
70 and 80 pound blue cats aren't that big of a constellation. Come on.
Bullshit.
Gerald,
I can make that into a hell of a show, though.
Pete,
that is
if you posted
a good twist to the video.
Pete, if you
You know,
posted
we
a pic
could.
of you holding a 60 pound, 70, 80 pound blue cat, it would get more likes than any fishing pic you've ever posted in your
Yes.
entire life.
How far would we do? What would y'all want to do? Put in Cape Charles and run across to the James River on water, or drive back over the bridge?
Drive
Probably-
back up.
Probably drive, yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
pretty good haul.
If I posted a picture of a catfish about 60 pounds, I'd probably
What?
lose some money.
$45 one way on that bridge with a boat.
What bullshit are you talking, Pete?
I said if I posted a picture of a catfish 60, 70 pounds, I'd probably lose Facebook friends.
No.
Nah.
Tell him, Dieter. He would have more likes on that pic
Yeah.
than any other pic he's ever had.
I kid you not. So true story. I have the count is going up right now. As of today, I have 176 friend requests. And of those,
He muted you. I'm sorry, Pete. Repeat that. Wes muted you.
I said, West.
Sorry, Pete. He muted you again.
I won't do it no more, I promise.
Okay.
So
One more
as of
time.
right now, I have 176 friend requests. And of that, 3/4 of those jack wagons are holding a fucking catfish in their profile photo. They ain't no friends of mine.
But y'all know how I like to go live? If I'm ever live in Tennessee this year, we back again, and I have a 60-pound catfish, I will throw my $1,000 phone in the water.
Damn.
Oh my God.
I will throw it in the water.
Damn.
If you go live where? In Tennessee?
Yeah, and I have a 60-pound catfish on. I'll throw it in the water.
Why?
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been striper fishing, not catching shit, to catch some catfish, and it was fun. Glad to catch something. I mean,
I love to catch stripers.
I mean, I do too if I'm targeting them, but I mean, if I'm targeting striper and I have a 60-pound blue cat as a bycatch, I'm happy.
yeah. Dieter's gonna leave that one alone.
Listen, I'm on this trip for the adventure, and if we get a day of stripers and have to drop back and punt and go try to catch a catfish, it would make a hell of a twist for the story, and I think it would be really good. It'd probably be better than catching stripers 2 days in a row, but
Well,
I don't know about
I
that.
know Pete doesn't want to hear me say that.
I'm going to be your best friend because I'm going to do all the work you're not going to have to do. Because I know what it's like to try to film and fish. Because every
I don't
time
want to fish. I want to film y'all fishing. Y'all
but
got to do
every
everything.
time I've tried to make a video, like when I've always had to help. So I want to make it for having another video guy on the boat, which I've never had in my entire life. I'm going to make sure that you don't have to do anything.
Dude,
I'm
I play
gonna-
captain for other people all the time on my guide trips. I'm going to sit back and film. Y'all catch fish.
I'm gonna
Y'all
work-
are the story.
Well, what I'm talking about is Wes is going to be trying to put your ass to work. He's going to be like, somebody get to that Dieter.
I'm just going to tell him I'm not here. There's the fourth wall. I'm not here. You don't
I'm
see
just
me.
letting you know that I'm going to do my very best to keep Dieter from having to
But Didi,
do anything but film.
I just heard you say you'd rather have 2 good days of catfishing than 2 good days of striper fishing. Is that right?
No, I did not say that. You misinterpreted what I said. I would rather have 2 good days of fishing than like one day and then sitting around in the living room doing nothing. So I can make that turning into a catfish trip as a consolation prize. If we catch fish, could be good. If we don't catch any catfish, then it probably wouldn't.
I haven't mapped it, but when we're out on the bay, like the lower bay, the James dumps into the lower bay right there. So
it does, but it's very, very big. Very, very big.
It can't be that much of a drive.
Someone
It is.
Drive, no. Boat ride, it's a hellacious boat ride.
Absolutely.
Especially if you got the wind we're talking about, it would be hellacious. So
Yeah.
actually going there would be not that bad. Getting
Coming
back,
and then you're close. Then you've got the tide to deal with down there too.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wonder how far of a drive it is. Like
an hour, I would guess.
Oh yeah, that's not terrible. That's not terrible.
I would guess. I mean,
that's doable.
You kind of have to cross back over and then go back up. I think it's probably an hour.
Now, as far as bait is concerned, I fished the James half a dozen times. I've always caught bait, but every time I've been, it's been in the summertime. So I don't know if I would be able to catch bait this time of year. I don't know if my spots.
If you know how to set a gill net up there, you can catch bait.
Exactly. Yeah. But the thing about that is we'd have to buy a gill net. We'd have to.
I thought you had a gill net. I thought you said you didn't know how to catch bait up there. Oh, okay.
No. I catch bait with a cast net.
Oh, what if I told you guys that I had a gill net right here?
I know how to catch bait with a gill net. I don't have a gill net.
I've filmed them guys setting gill nets. It looks easy, but everything looks easy when you know what you're doing. So
I have a gill net in my shed here from years ago, many moons ago.
Now I've been with a guy and we set a gill, but I didn't set it. He did it, but I know how to do it. But
you probably just did a deep hole net,
A what?
A deep hole net.
A deep hole net.
Setting a gill net's easy. I mean, really, I used to do it all the time. You know,
it's extremely easy. But I would just
those guys are setting those things in like 4 or 5, probably 5 feet of water there in those little oxbows.
Man, all we'd have to do is just keep one of those trophy stripers. We're good.
We're not keeping all of them.
Well, I think it's fortunately they have some pretty strict legislation up there on keeping stripers. Like you're not allowed to keep any. I don't think
none at all. Oh wow! I thought we was going to have to clean them on the boat. I guess let me pull my knife out of my bag. So.
Damn.
I could be wrong, but I think you can keep one now.
No.
Mm-mm.
It's over in December.
Yeah, January 1st is it.
I'll send Wes. I'll give Wes a striper there at Hartwell for y'all to use for bait. How's that?
I'm gonna catch me a big 50 and drag it back down the water and take a picture with it down there.
Right? Put on damn news and everything, right?
Yeah. I'm surprised that doesn't happen more often, especially with bait tanks nowadays and the ability to keep fish alive. Like I'm surprised that doesn't happen more often.
You take that photo out there and someone zooms in, is like, hey, kind of funny. There's a little piece of sea lice on that fish right there.
Hey, Dieter, let me ask y'all this, JR. What if I haven't, the guy's holding the house for me, but I haven't paid him yet?
Mm-hmm.
If we have to, I'll check it again Friday. Do y'all, if we had to, what about the following week?
Yeah, I'm game.
I don't want to go up there because if I rent that house, I don't want to make 2 or 3 different trips to get to fish 2 or 3 days. Dieter, would that put you out more if we did it the following week if we can't? Because if y'all come up there, I'd like for y'all to be able at least to fish 2 days.
I am bad the 15th, 16th, and 17th because that is NASCAR media days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I said, I could come up later in the week toward the 11th, 12th, or come up on that Wednesday, which we wouldn't fish, but then fish the 11th and 12th, which looks good, which is on a Friday, okay. Or the 18th, 19th of the following week into that Saturday of the following week. So there is room. It would just be later in that week there. So
I have no idea what it looks like, Wes, but I'm there the 19th, 20th, and 21st.
I'm actually wide open from the 20th all the way through the 25th.
Well, JR, you want to maybe push it back a week?
Yeah, I'm flexible. Yeah, sure.
Y'all don't change plans,
especially if Pete wants to roll. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let's do the whole. We'll have the whole Real Fisherman crew on the same boat. That'd be awesome.
Okay, let me look at the calendar.
That sounds like a good plan because the weather looks a lot. Well, I don't know what it looks like then, but as bad as it's going to be, it's got to be better then.
Okay, so what if we go up? If I leave on the 14th next Sunday and try for the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th.
20th is the only day I can because the days you named prior to that, I'm in Denver for my recurrent training.
The only thing I would be worried about is, this type fishing strike when the iron's hot, and the iron's hot, and the longer we wait,
But last year, JR, it stayed hot till the second week in February.
Yep, that's true.
February.
Let's hope it does that this time.
Hey, it's like this, guys. Tomorrow ain't guaranteed. Go when you fucking can. So y'all plan this shit already next week. Go next week, the days you're able to.
Well, no, Pete, it ain't. I mean, not putting you out, but I'm talking about the weather.
Yeah, I'm saying though, you don't know that the 20th through whatever could be another storm rolling up the coast, and the weather also sucks. Maybe even more.
There is a long range storm, but that's not. I mean, it's just
So-
computer models now that's supposed to hit that week. But
So I'm actually, Dieter, it's funny you say that because I've been actually looking at some of my computer, whatever, and sometime towards the end of the month of January, I think it was highlighted 24th, 22nd, somewhere thereabouts. It's showing an extreme cold snap hitting our area.
An extreme what?
Extreme cold snap. So,
and
Yeah.
mathematically, that fourth week of January is one of the worst for winter weather here in the
Correct, yeah.
Southeast. So,
as far as what I was painting in my little aviation shit, it was talking, it was actually a historically cold snap hitting our area here for like a long.
Well, I'll say this for video purposes, really, all we need is one day for video purposes.
I mean, technically, yeah. I know what Wes is thinking, though. He doesn't want to be sitting down there with a house rented, sitting on your ass, damn, watching Dr. Phil shows
at $175 a night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And the $200 I'm going to spend in fuel dragging a boat up there, and the $200 in fuel I'm going to spend dragging it back.
Yeah.
So,
you get it.
Yeah. You want to get the most bang for your buck. I mean, it seems like rolling in there on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then trying to fish 18th, 19th, 20th, whatever. Obviously, I can't well, wait a minute. That's the wrong week. That's next week after next.
If I could get 3 days out of the 6, I would be very happy.
Mm-hmm.
If you rolled in Sunday, I think you'd be fishing Monday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday. But I think you come back on Saturday, don't you?
No, I'll come back on Sunday if I could get those 3 days.
Oh, I think you could get 3 out of that then. But I think Tuesday, Wednesday is going to be dead.
Oh, yes. And remember, we drive an hour east, and we got some the trophy catfish mecca of southeast. So,
I mean, Joe, we can do that Tuesday, Jay. I mean, honestly, if y'all want to help me pay the tolls, going over there and some gas, I'd be up for doing that Tuesday, Dieter, JR, if y'all want to do that. I mean,
yeah, I'll go in like $50.
Yeah, Tuesday we'll see. It's again, like Pete said earlier, it is a week out. We'll see what the weather's doing. Yeah. It may. I've seen one of those models on that thing. It was going to blow out of here way quicker, and it may be one of those deals where hell, come Wednesday, it's like blowing 5 to 10, and I think 5 to 10 is manageable out there, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah, very much so.
Okay.
And there again, worst case scenario, if we did have to do that, hell, I could get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning if we was going to have to drive over there, to catfish one day. I mean, no, I wouldn't want to get up at 9 o'clock and then be over there fishing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon for 2 or 3 hours. If we were going to drive that far, I would get up early for that. I mean, I know y'all like to catfish, so it is what it is.
I just like to be on the water. I really don't give a crap what I fish for as long as it's not largemouth bass. So,
and I could be, I'll be famous if I could get in one of Dieter Melhorn's videos. I'd have Shimano calling me tomorrow.
Hey, we're gonna have like a ton of Dieter Melhorn footage and videos and short.
Let me tell you something. If you're a 15-year-old kid from Lake Wateree, that kid, something blew up with the stuff I posted. I don't know if you followed that, Wes, but a kid caught a 94-pound blue cat out of Wateree. Yeah. Something happened when I posted it on algorithm correctly or something, and That was what, 2 days ago. I guess everybody got back from vacation. This morning, the phone started ringing and I started getting emails from all over the place. That's what took me so long to get on the night. I had to do an interview with somebody about that. But yeah, that one has went semi-viral. I posted a podcast, 2 hours ago, and I think it's already at 4,000 views, which is pretty amazing on my little channel. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, if you can find a little kid to put on the boat to catch a 60-pound striper, might go viral again.
Yeah.
So, Pete's little. We can dress him up like a little boy.
He's the right height anyway, Eddie.
Well, I'm 5'10", bitches.
Yeah.
They're shorter.
Hey, you might be 5'10" when you got them Prince platform shoes on.
Shit, son. All right, 5'11" then.
You just think he's short because he's got a small head. And
You know him and Chris Hovis see eye to eye on everything.
Hell
he,
no.
doesn't, he doesn't frame his
I look
camera
down
or
on
make him look
Hovis. What are you
short.
talking about?
Damn.
I didn't
If you
realize
bring
how
it-
much Hovis people picked on Hovis until I started crossing online and seeing everything. It's like, poor little fella. He's a good guy.
A lot of people would disagree with that. The good guy
Some
part.
folks-
Y'all got listen. The one thing I'm looking forward to on this is there's a bunch of stories I want to hear about a bunch of people that we can't talk about here on a publicly disseminated forum. So
Yeah,
that is the one thing I've got a whole bunch of questions about.
Well, we'll be glad to answer them for you.
Ow,
I
you
wanna hear it.
fucker.
What are you doing? Chasing a fly?
Dog bit.
He's probably got Riggs dressed up in some crazy shit. Poor old Riggs, he takes some pictures of that dog, and that dog was pitiful. Hey, he had that motherfucker. He had that motherfucker in a green sweater the other day with green stockings on him. Poor dog.
Have you
Poor
seen the
dog's
video?
got an
You seen the viral video on TikTok of the woman with her son, and she doesn't know that she's recording, and she's like, "Cry, look sad." If you, that's
I have not.
that's Pete with Riggs.
Damn.
He's like, "Sit up straight."
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, you.
Hey, we got Michael. We had Michael Walker on here tonight. I just seen that. What's up, Walker?
Y'all been ignoring comments all night long. People want to, talk about Hartwell, not no damn dragon shit.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes, I'm looking to see if there were any good comments. I don't think there were really.
Dieter,
any
let me
good
ask you a
comments.
question. We didn't ask you what reels you run, Dieter.
Dude, I've got all kinds of stuff, and I'm not trying to give you a tap dance answer. I had a deal with Ancient Mariner last year. That deal's over now, and I ran those all of last year just to show people that you can get a half decent reel for not much money. They're not a legacy reel or anything like that. But now I put some PC funds back on the boat. I put some old Lew's back on the boat. The one I'm interested in is this Catfish Pro reel. Now, let me say all this. I preface all that to say I do all that mainly because the target audience are people that don't want to spend $150, $200 to buy fishing reels. So that's the reason I do this. The reason I got this. I'm going to do some stuff with this. I would seriously, once we put a fish in the boat, I want to put one of these on and see if I can at least hook into something on it, because honestly, there are people that ain't got the money that or they're not as dumb as some of us in what we'll spend to buy a fishing reel. So,
Hey, I figured out something about good fishing reels. Spend the money now, and you don't have to keep buying them over and over.
and that's a very good point, because I've got some very nice, very expensive stuff in there that I don't show that much and don't fish with that much. But you're right, there is, and I'm doing a thing. I don't want to go into it too much because I don't want them finding out and giving up all the secrets. But there is a popular brand that I've used that has a mechanical issue, and I'm going to document how much trouble it is to get it fixed. It's a popular brand, but it's not an Abu Garcia. I'll say that. Abu Garcia's you can get fixed very quickly and very easily.
The only brand out there that I've constantly had issues with time and time again, I no longer own any. Quantum.
Abu Garcia's?
Quantum.
Oh, Quantum. Yeah. Well, and my whole point is that some of these Abu Garcias you can get worked on pretty easily. Some of these others, it's just kind of like, well, if you spend a little bit less, are you going to just chunk it in the trash, which a lot of people do? There's a lot of old striper guys on Norman. I know that was their MO. I'm going to buy me a $60 bait caster, and when it wears out in 3 years, I'm taking it off, throw it in the lake, and I'll put a new one on. So it'll be interesting what rolls out with this.
Speaking of bait casters, I saw that video you spooling that reel up with your Crocs the other day, and I wanted to say something smart ass. I'm like,
Say it now. Say it now. Say it.
I was about to say that damn reel sound like a fucking coffee grinder, man. I tell you.
I've done that.
I'm trying to think.
with my
Oh, that was
Crocs.
that old Catfish Pro reel that I had.
I have no idea what it was,
Yeah.
but it sounded like
Yeah,
a damn
that's what it
coffee
was.
grinder. I was like,
Yeah.
no, it needs a little help.
That was it. That was.
Do you
I've
remember,
done
do you
what-
remember
done
the
that with my
gold?
Crocs.
Do y'all remember the gold reels that Bass Pro Shops used to sell?
Yes, Mega
Cast.
something, right?
Mega Cast.
The first 20-pound striper I caught on that reel stripped every fucking gear in it. I was so happy, and I went to bait it up again and went to pull some line out, free line, and the trout just said, grrr, grrr.
Those are good reels. Those are those are also
fish.
those are also
I'll-
rebadged Minyangs.
I'll be
Yes,
honest
sir.
with you. I would love to see something tear a reel up. The closest that I came was with Pete a few hundred yards away from me on a king mackerel out there. And it was one of those PC Fun reels and totally the wrong reel to use. But
You got to use what you got, right? There you
and the literal smoking part, it was damn close. It was very warm on that cheap pot metal housing on the side of it to where when it made its run, it sucked some freaking line off of it. And I would love to hook into a striper or whatever that would actually break a reel and tear it apart so that we could open it up and show it. That's good
I've had it
video.
happen.
So
Wes,
I think one of the best reels for the money, and Pete, I know you know this guy. He's from Virginia. I've got two of his reels. JR used one of them. A Siegler, Wes Siegler. Siegler for the money, I think, my opinion, best reel on the market today. He stands behind his reels, and if you have an issue, he fixes it or gives you a new reel. He don't ask questions. If you run over it with a damn truck, send it to him. He'll send you a new
all
reel.
right, so tell me about this, because I mean, is this guy making them or is
Yes,
he
he makes them in
repackaging?
Virginia. No, he makes them personally. He's got a factory in Virginia. His name is Wes Siegler.
They're made in the USA. They're made there. He makes
Everything.
them.
So he's making all the gears and everything. For him.
He shops. He's got a shop. Everything is made and sold.
How
in
far
the
is he from where
USA.
we're going to be?
I'm not sure what part of Virginia he's in. I could look it up. But
That's
everything is
fascinating.
made.
Yeah, it's a very awesome reel.
JR said that was his favorite reel.
I'm a kind of a real snob, and when I fish with Wes, especially for wahoo fishing or AJ fishing, bottom fishing, I pray that the next bite comes on that reel because it's so much easier.
How much are they
to get the fish in?
I think that bait caster I gave like $260 for it.
as a
we're not
level wind or
No, it's not
No.
level one.
We're comparing it to, and it's not like we're comparing it to cheaper reels. We're comparing this reel to
Talicus.
to
My
Shimano
Talicus.
Speedmasters, Talic,
It's a great reel.
Daiwa Saltus, Daiwa Saltiga. That Siegler, it outperforms all those.
And they say right now he makes the best fly rod reel in the world. And like I say, he stands behind his stuff, and it's all made in the USA. He makes his own parts, his own gears. Nothing comes from China in that.
God,
reel.
I'd love to shoot something with him. That would be so fascinating just to show people what's involved in doing that. Because everybody says, "Oh, why don't you buy American? Why don't you buy American?" Well, guess what? You're going to pay more money for it because it's a hell of a lot harder and more expensive to build something like that, to put the quality into it that you need. So
Well, look him up. Siegler Reels. His name's Wes.
Well,
Siegler.
some of those same people are also driving Fords instead of Kias and Hyundais. I mean, so
oh
Hey,
God,
Peter,
now we're off in another
I
direction.
got to backtrack a little bit, and Wes can.
I mean, I'm
probably-
just saying, some people they poor mouth and they you guys know as well as I do. It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you're passionate about something, you're going to spend the money to get what's not necessarily the best, but you're going to get something that's pretty good quality.
That's what you need. Yeah.
First thing
That's
Pete
the job.
told me when I started striking, when I went offshore, he said, "Wes, buy good reels. You're gonna spend a lot of money. You only have to buy them one time." I've got some Talica reels. I got some Talica 16s. I gave like $700 a piece for. Talica 10s. I gave like $549, almost $600 a piece for. I've got 4 Talica 10s. I've got 5 Talica 16s. I've got a Tiagra 30 and a Tiagra 50. Shit, dude, I've got $12,000 or better just in saltwater rods in my building right now. But I'll only have to buy them one time. I don't have to buy reels no more in my fishing career. I shouldn't. But the
But
Seagull
then someone
reel,
else come along and you'll be like, yeah, let me have a couple of those. But
yeah, I know, right?
I gotta backtrack a little bit. We got caught up in the conversation, but prior to talking about the high dollar reels, Dieter mentioned he loved to shoot a video with a set of reel, yada yada yada. And then Wes, you still around? You hear me?
Oh yeah, go ahead, buddy. I'm just
All right.
handing you a piece of cake.
And then
Come on.
he concluded with, I would love to hook a big striper with this reel.
Mhm.
Why a striper, not a catfish, Dieter? Can you answer
Oh,
that?
my
Why not
God.
hook a big catfish with said reel?
Oh,
Are you saying that striper fight harder than a catfish?
no, I'm saying on this trip, I would love to hook into a big striper with it. I mean, that's honestly, I don't know. I think
hope
that
he
it's
hooks
a
on to
lot-
the biggest fish of the day on that reel. I hope we get it in,
Yeah.
and that way I can say every time y'all want to talk junk about catfish, I can say, "Man, we caught a trophy striper on a freaking Zebco 33." So shut up.
Shit.
Yeah, I don't. How long does it? I mean, in all seriousness, and I know this depends on current and everything else, but how long does it take to land a 50-pound striper?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm sure Wes is gonna add on to this, and JR probably. The one time I fished Chesapeake Bay, we anchored up at the high rise and night fished with eels. And my 51 that I caught, I think from the moment we hooked up to the moment we got it boat side, less than 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes.
Okay, so y'all were anchored up? Is that what you said?
We were anchored up, 25-pound test. I do remember that.
Okay.
And we had about
Ripping current. What was the current like?
Yeah, I was about to say about 6 to 7 knots of current.
Yeah,
Okay.
the current, they're right there. You're talking about the CBBT, the high rise CBBT, right
Yep.
there. Yeah, that current is ripping. You got but how much weight were you using, Pete?
About a half ounce sinker.
So you were fishing up on the top.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
most
that's
people.
how deep? How deep was the water?
I can't remember, maybe 55 foot, give or
Yeah,
take.
it's
Okay,
deep.
that's decent. Yeah,
But most people that fish there at that CBBT at night, they're using at least a pound of weight. At least. I mean, usually more than that, up to like 60 ounces. Like, because we put
collard greens.
we put 12 ounces of weight
Prison
right
food.
there before at night, Dieter, and let the line out say 50, 100 feet, and the eel was skipping on top of the water with 12 ounces. You have to have a massive amount of weight to get your bait down there.
And what we were doing was, so we had the light that was shining right there against the pylon, and we're anchored up in a perfect way to where we let the eel out, and it was practically touching that pylon under the light. And the striper would actually come up and eat it on the surface or just below the surface slightly.
What time of the year was this, Pete?
It was middle December, but remember, it was back when it was actually cold, years back.
Hey, we got a question on here, but before we get into this question, it's for Dieter. Dieter, I didn't ask you, and honestly, I don't know if you put and I'm gonna be honest. No, I don't measure. I have last year I put a scale on my drag, but when I do it, I get up on the back of my truck so I can hold my rod straight up, so I know exactly how much drag's on it. But how much drag do you think you use when you're fishing for big catfish? How much drag do you think you're using?
About 8 pounds.
Thank you. There you go. Hello.
Yeah, about 8 pounds. It's not that much. I put it. I kind of got.
Fish is a reservoir with absolutely no current, really.
Yeah, I mean that is a difference. Dave, James. Here's the thing when it comes to the James. I've been on the James. I filmed guys catfishing on the James. I know nothing about fishing the James River, so I will say that it's a place that I know where it's at. I know where there's supposed to be some fish. I've heard some fishing conjecture from people down there. I know nothing about it. I'm totally ignorant. So
Let's see if I can help.
Not a good person to throw out any information that's useful.
I fished the James a handful of times. Let's see. Hey, Captain Dieter, can I ask you if you're fishing the James? These blue cat from around Phillipsburg to Easton area. So the James River, it runs a long ways, and we fish Hopewell, Virginia. So I don't know where Phillipsburg is. I'm assuming Phillipsburg's probably much farther north than where I fish. So what was the question here?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me put it back up, Joe. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. We'll see. How far would I need to go for a nice blue cat from around? I don't know how far you are from Hopewell, but
From Hopewell, I can tell you 5 miles in either direction, you can catch all the 50, 60 pound fish that you'll find on the James River. Anyway, I know that
There
much.
you go.
So
There you go.
I don't know where that
that's
city's
what
at.
I
that
was
you're
gonna
talking
say.
about. Yeah.
Here's what I
Yeah.
do. Here's what I do. What's his name again?
Dave.
Dave Alt.
Look up Adam Cook on my page. He's a guide up there, catches monster fish. Go with a guide one time. It's worth all the money. It's worth every nickel. Then you go back and pretty much do your thing.
If I were going to go with a guide on the James River, it would be Adam Cook.
Yeah.
For sure.
Or Dieter Melhorn.
Don't go with me. Bad choice on the James River.
Yeah.
Bad choice.
All right, guys, I'm gonna take off. We'll see you.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and end it. Let's go ahead and end it. Wes,
All right,
come back
boys.
so we can
We'll
end
see
it.
Oh, I'm coming, buddy. I was putting my stuff up. I just got done eating some birthday cake.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week on the.
Hey, hold on a
Real
minute. Hold on. I
Fishing
got to
Show.
say one thing.
Oh,
Okay.
Pete Malick, Pete, it hurt my feelings. You didn't text me on my birthday.
oh my goodness, did I not? I sent you a Facebook message. That's good enough, right?
Dieter, you don't know me that well yet, but I figured I could get one from you and JR. It really fucked me up that you didn't message me on my birthday.
I didn't know you had a birthday.
Hey,
I did
Wes.
the same thing Pete did. I said
Didn't
happy
know it's
birthday
been
on
all over
Facebook.
How did
I
you
don't get on
know?
Facebook that much. I don't
Wes.
get on Facebook.
Wes, I
Yeah.
invited you on my boat for your birthday. How's that?
I'm coming, buddy.
There we go.
All
Good night, guys. We'll see you next week.
Get
Have a
you.
great one.
See you,
Get back.
pal.
All right,
Good
bye.
night.
Take care.